Okay, so my battery's getting low. Not quite sure if I can finish at least the part that I wanted to finish before I get some sleep. There was two more things, two more defining moments in Tom's River. Each one is a little bit more kind of involved and kind of heavy. So shoe glass. I was talking about XJ 900s and why it's important to take the time and invest in good quality things for your children, and don't use the cop out you can't afford it. There's eBay, there's secondhand stores. When you're struggling as an adult, as a parent, a lot of y'all will go and still make sure you look good. Your children deserve to look good as well. It really hurts their self-esteem, their sense of self-worth, and everything else if you're walking around in suits and suspenders, nice glasses, getting your hair cut, getting your hair done, nice little first lady suits, but your kids looking raggedy. They got the cheapest shoes on, the cheapest clothes on, they head looking crazy. I had some of that experience. I'm not going to say my parents didn't always try or do their best in some instances, but everybody's experience and the way that they see it is different. And my feeling and my experience was it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. So anyway, XJ 900s. So me and Rabbit were, taking a walk, going somewhere, and we're hopping up and down. And if I had good quality sneakers, this would not have happened, but they were raggedy and the soles and a little bit of rubber really thin. We're skipping. I'm skipping, and then I land back on the pavement, and I mean the sharpest pain jolted through my body so fast. I mean, my whole body collapsed, and it took me a minute to realize what had happened. So I'm confused because all I know is all of a sudden it felt like lightning just went through my body. That's crazy. I still kind of remember that feeling, and I'm shocked because it's like I went weak and my body just hits the black street. And all of a sudden, Rabbit is like, oh, girl, you're bleeding. I mean, blood is coming out the bottom of my foot. And I'm still not understanding why, because sometimes it takes a minute for that shock and everything to register. So I landed on a glass bottle that had been broken, and it went right through the bottom of that cheap behind sneaker, right through the bottom of it. And apparently that glass, it was green. That's crazy. I remember this, the green glass. So I don't know if it was from a beer bottle or what, but it was some liquid bottle. Had went up my foot pretty good, and I believe it was my left foot. So now I'm freaking out, of course, because I'm seeing so much blood, and it was a lot of blood. And she is just flagging down whoever's driving by. All I recall was it was like a white or maybe Italian, but some vanilla guy. He pulls over, and thank goodness he wasn't some freaking mass murderer, because apparently around that time we had lots of just people who like to murder random people for fun in that area. One of them actually went to our church, Michael Lassane, and that is his real name. He was a junior deacon in our church, and as we were leaving New Jersey, he actually murdered someone, a teacher, Kathleen Weinstein, may she rest in peace. And horrific to think I was sitting in church next to someone who was a monster, another monster. And me and lots of girls had a big crush on him because he was handsome and quiet, and wow, you never know. Monsters. But anyway, back to that. My foot's gushing with blood, and then the pain starts really kicking in, and that's probably the mind-body connection, because now I see it. And I think she wound up pulling it out and pulling my shoe off. The guy was kind. He let me get in his car. And I think he drove me to the hospital. Don't quite remember how I got home or how my parents discovered or whatever, or even anything after that. I just remember I got to the hospital. I do remember that there was blood in his car. She was flagging people down. The guy pulled over, let me get in the car, and took me on to the emergency room. And I don't recall everything that happened after that, but I do remember a feeling of, God dang it, another thing. And I just remember when mishaps would happen, there was something about the experience that would make me feel like it was all my fault, or like I'm such an inconvenience. Now that I am a parent, and then having been a single parent for so long and having experienced some of my own parent frustration, I think that when you have a lack of resources, maybe even a lack of emotional intelligence, when you're just not happy, that you can really take it out on your children. And it's not their fault, but I can understand how when you're in a certain space that's just not healthy, how you can have that misplaced anger and frustration and take it out on your kids. I do not agree with it at all. I'm saying I can understand how, if you, an unhealthy person could do something like that and make them, and kind of look at them like, dang it, it's just another freaking inconvenience. And that's how I felt about a lot of things. And I do remember feeling that about that moment as well. I don't remember feeling compassion whenever things would happen to me, even at that early of an age. I remember feeling like I just did something else to them. Although I was the one, that had a glass, not a glass shard, but, a glass bottle go through my shoe into my foot. I remember even then the feeling, and you don't forget these feelings of, just being an inconvenience. The next story, the next defining moment also happened in Toms River. And I feel like I need to cut this here because it's probably going to take the whole 10 minutes of my next video to talk about me getting kicked out for the first time. I believe I was in 6th grade, either 5th or 6th grade, but I'm pretty sure I was in 6th grade then, in Mrs. Tunbridge's class, maybe. Is that, I think. I was still in Toms River, I know that, and it was sometime after the glass thing happened, the very first time. And I joke with one of my brothers on a regular basis about how, Dad's been kicking me out since I was a little kid. And of course, on the other side of jokes is usually, the opposite of that. But it's true. I've been getting kicked out, shut out, stonewalled in lots of different ways, including literally being kicked out of my own home since elementary school. And I learned very early that my home is not a safe space for me. And although these people may be some sort of spiritual pillars for other people and provide spiritual healing for other people, and there were so many people, adults and kids, that would come to our home, to get this family love and guidance. And even now there's so many people who, call my parents mom and dad, and it makes me sick to my stomach because you're not my siblings. You're not. But that wasn't my experience. For me, home was not a safe space. Okay, let me stop this here because I'm getting close to 8 minutes and I want to take my time. I don't want to rush. And I'm going to go ahead and just drop this last video, and then I'm going to get some rest because I've got several hundred people to take care of tomorrow, and I need to make sure that I am fit for service.